Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Jets Radio. This is one of your hosts, Tyson Roush, and as always, we have a jam-packed show for you. We got to discuss this just chaos with the Patriot game, discuss the aftermath of the Patriot game, discuss the the stadium atmosphere. Also, we're going to discuss the Team 96 event, where I got a chance to talk to Mr. Coach Todd Bowles. So, as you guys know, if you follow this show, you know my takes on Coach Bowles, and in fact, I could talk to him for about 10 minutes. It was quite an interesting conversation, so we discussed that as well. So it's going to be an interesting show here. So let me introduce our co-host, Long Beach Joe. I hope you're ready for this one, Joe. I hope you're ready, man.
Man, let me tell you something. I don't know what those referees were smoking. It must be better than anything we have here in California, because that call was the worst call I have ever seen in my entire life, to turn that over. But we're going to get into that, and I can't wait. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I am here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote our Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search Let's Talk Jets Radio. Like that page. Our content's up there as well. Go ahead and message us. We'll message you right back. Leave us some feedback as well. We love hearing about what you folks think we do here on Let's Talk Jets Radio. So without further ado, Ty, let's go ahead and get into the show, man. I am fired up.
Yeah, man, I am beyond fired up for this one. And as always, we're on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn.com, Google Play, you name it, we're on it. Just look it up. Let's Talk Jets. Subscribe, leave us feedback. We definitely appreciate it. Listen, we know there are a ton of podcasts out there. And, listen, we are very proud to be part of, NYJetsFans.com. We have shows, Tuesday and Friday night, NYJF TV, Mondays and Thursdays, 4 great shows. We got you covered all week long. You want comprehensive coverage by not only real fans, but, by Rob Carpenter. You got Brian Winters joining those guys as well. So you got comprehensive coverage all week long from us. So proud to be a part of it. Be sure to watch those guys as well. And like I said, we appreciate the support and the feedback. We've been doing this for a while. We've been following this team for a long time, probably too long based on my liver, issues. But, dude, let's start with this, Joe. I'm just going to start with this. We won't even go into the stadium atmosphere and the thousands of Patriot fans. We'll do that after this. You mentioned it already. What an absolute friggin' disgrace the refs are. And the arrogance of the NFL to try to justify it's ridiculous. But, dude, it's not just one call. There's like 4 calls. Before Safarian and Jenkins, they overturned this, which is mind-numbing because it's just ridiculous they're even justifying this. A Patriot player grabbed the referee. He grabbed the referee, Joe. That's a guaranteed penalty right there. Nobody's even talking about that. Don't even talk. Let's not talk about the Patriot. He grabbed the I want to curse so bad. They grabbed the goddamn referee.
Don't. Family show.
Dude, this is a challenge tonight. But the Safarian Jenkins play is ridiculous. He grabbed the referee. Ridiculous. The goddamn play on Jamal Adams, the pass interference in the end zone. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
That was textbook coverage, dude. And the funny thing is, the same goddamn play happened on the opposite way against Safarian Jenkins in the end zone. No call.
Yep.
The lack of consistency for this friggin' they're clowns. It's abysmal. And you know what it's doing? It's turning fans away from the game because we don't understand the rules anymore. I don't even understand what the hell the rules are. I've been watching this game, Joe, 30 years. 30 years I've been watching this game. I'm not sure what a fumble is. I'm not sure what a catch is. I have no idea what a touchdown is. And I don't know what the hell the refs are doing, Joe. It's an embarrassment. It's a disgrace. And it's ruining the game experience altogether.
Dude, I almost lost it just trying to do that. I couldn't even – the fact that they overturned that is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what a catch is anymore. I don't know what a fumble is anymore. I don't know anything because according to that call yesterday, just switching the ball from hand to hand is a fumble because that's exactly what they were calling there. He literally had possession of that ball before he got into the end zone. If anything, even if you called it a fumble and said it was out of bounds, he fumbled but way before the goal line. If you're calling that a fumble, that was way before the goal line. So he should at least got the ball back at the 1 or the 2. You don't hand the ball over to the Patriots after that. That's ridiculous. And I was going to get exactly to where you were going with the Patriots player. That Patriots player was Malcolm Butler. When that referee was coming up to call that TD to raise his arms, Malcolm Butler is the one that got up and ran over and was trying to stop the referee from raising his arms up. That is a penalty. You cannot do that. He should have been called or ejected out of the game for putting his hands on a referee. You cannot do that. It is just absolutely ridiculous. That pass interference call, dude, I almost lost it. The fact that Gronk can grab Jamal Adams, bring him in, almost choke him, and still get a call is ridiculous. What was Jamal supposed to do? He's playing textbook coverage. Absolutely ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. I don't even know what's going on. That whole entire referee crew got to be drug tested. They had to be on something because I don't know what they were seeing out there. I also saw a phantom defensive holding call that they called during that game as well when Gronk was coming around. That was ridiculous. There was some calls that I thought just didn't make any sense out there. And it's just absolutely ridiculous to see this absolute awful, just a disgrace of refereeing. There's just no consistency in calls whatsoever. It was just atrocious.
It was, and the one thing is I don't want to harp on this too much because to me, to be honest with you, while as bad as the penalties were, the Jets self-destructed and beat themselves, and beyond the penalties.
Yeah.
And we'll just start with we can start with the stadium environment first. And this is funny because I mentioned earlier that I went to the Team 96 event last night, which is a phenomenal event run by Mo Christmas Foundation. And there's about 10 players there, and I talked to all of them, dude. And it was funny because they're like, man, it was so weird when the Patriot team came out. We were surprised how loud the crowd was. This is the players saying this, dude. They're like, they couldn't believe it. And like they're just in like the one player. I'm not giving out names because I don't want to rat nobody out. The one player was like, the Jet chants in Cleveland were louder than the Jet chants in MetLife Stadium. He was cracking up. He's like, dude, he goes, I'm looking forward to Miami next week because the Miami crowd's better with the Jet fans. This is what the players are saying. The players. So they're looking forward to go to Miami to play because the crowd's great there. The Jet fans are great down there. So that just gives you a hint of what goes on in the stadium. That's the first thing. Second thing, you're off to a 14-0 lead, and Josh McCown's rolling. The offense is rolling. Everything is going great. Buster Screen drops the interception, and you're like, you know what? Here it comes. And, Joe, I think I tweeted it out, to be honest with you. I'm like, this interception could have been game-changing. That could have just turned, just kept the pressure on, kept things rolling. He drops that, and slowly but surely you knew that Patriots was going to come back. Then, more importantly, was the Jets got conservative on offense. On defense, they got lost. They all of a sudden were getting outcoached. They were lost. They were dazed. They were confused. The meltdown, the meltdown at the end of the first half was a sign of things to come, and it wasn't a good look for the Jets, dude. And that's beyond the penalties, because the penalties are a good excuse, but the team has still had a chance to make plays. Dude, they collapsed at the end of the first half, completely collapsed.
Yeah, we definitely did. You know, I watched that drop, and I was like, I thought he had it. I thought he had it for a second, then I saw the ball hit the ground. I said, oh, man, that could have been big. But I think what really started to kill us was, look, Josh McCown, he played decently that day. He had some plays that was just out of this world. There were some throws that he made that I didn't think he could make anymore at all as a QB. But he made some bonehead decisions. That interception before the half to give Brady that football back, that was a killer. That was an absolute drive killer. And I was just like, oh, my goodness, you literally just turned this football over. You're giving Brady, a couple of minutes. He's got the football, and it's right before the half. They're going to go in. Boom, they go in. They get the job done. And I'm looking at myself. I'm just like, man, we've got to come out and play better. Then he comes out and he throws another one in the third quarter that I thought was awful as well. He took some bad sacks in this game, too. I was just like, what is going on? And one of the main things, and we talk about this.
But hold on, Joe.
Go ahead.
But the other thing, just staying in the first half before we go to the second half is, it's like this is the point where you want your defense. Listen, I know Buster Screen dropped the interception, but when Tom Brady is getting ready to roll, this is when you want your defense to make that stand. And they have not made this stand in 5 goddamn years, where it's like they're going to roll. Okay, you dropped the interception. That doesn't mean quit. It doesn't mean give up. It doesn't mean give up 15 yards a goddamn carry. You make a play. Somebody make a play. Mo Wilkerson. How about that? Leonard Williams. Somebody make a play, Joe. Why does the defense always collapse for halftime? It's like we all know it's coming. Like the minute he started rolling, I'm like, well, this is going to be a tie game at halftime. Like I knew it. You knew it. I knew it. We all knew it. Like this team does not learn. And as good as they played and as great as an effort they gave, and I'll give them credit for that later on, dude, you got to step up. You got to put on your big boy pants and make that play to stop that drive and go into halftime with the lead.
But you know what stopped all that, though? What did we talk about before this game even came about? We said, hey, we got to get Tom Brady. We got to get him down. We got to get sacks. We got to get more pressure. We got to be on top of him.
It's terrible.
0 sacks for the day. Zero sacks for the day. So if you can't get that type of pressure on him, because Brady, he had a decent pocket most of the day. He was able to slide up and move around and make some throws. But let me tell you something. If you're not getting this guy down on the ground, if you're not blasting him when he's trying to drop back and find guys, he's going to find guys. So that was the tell of the tape right there. Even with Coney Ely playing, we couldn't get anything. We could not get this guy down. We could not get any sacks whatsoever. So that's what was killing us. Because, I mean, how long do you expect these guys to cover back there? You can't expect them to be back there for years? Not at all. Not if he's allowed, time to find guys. So if we're not getting pressure on him getting sacks, we're done here. So that's what I think killed us more in the first half was we weren't bringing him down at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. The pass rush, the lack of pass rush, Mo Wilkerson, is driving me insane. Listen, and here's the deal. If you're that hurt or you're that hindered, then don't play. I don't want to hear the excuses. And at some point, the Jets have to say, listen, you're not helping us. We want to bring in young blood or somebody that has a little more energy, a little more effort until you feel better, until you're healthier. And if you are healthy enough to play, then we got a bigger issue here. Because this is going to end up being your last year in New York, especially with the Jets. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the offense. Like you said, Josh McCown he made throws, dude. That one throw to Curley for the touchdown with 31 yards was ridiculous. I'm like, McCown was dealing, and you started feeling confident in him, and then the Patriots, they start coming back, and all of a sudden the Jets' offense, the running ball on first down. So I'm so tired of 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, because we're trying to force the running game. Here's the newsflash, John Morton. I've loved everything you've done. I've given you credit for your play calling. Running the ball on first down is killing us. It's killing us. The offensive line, they can't run block. It was atrocious. They couldn't do anything. So at some point you got to realize, as much as you want to establish the run, if you can't, do the screen passes, do the dump off passes, do bubble screens, do whatever you can to offset that pass rush. But to force the run, Joe, and 2nd and 9 repeatedly is maddening at this point.
Well, I don't think it was just about forcing the run there, because there was at least on the first drive I saw there were some holes. But when you're asking again, we're still asking old man Forte to run like a man, and that's not what he is anymore. Are we going to talk about that? Are we going to talk about the fact that Matt Forte is still being forced on us, is still out there more than we're seeing McGuire, more than we're seeing other young backs here? We're still seeing him out there more. This should have been a game where McGuire started and got a ton of snaps up into the half. We didn't start seeing consistent McGuire until a little bit later in the game. Not at all. That was absolutely ridiculous. That's why you start McGuire, because he is that younger, faster back. This is the same thing I said we talked about during that Jags game as well. Look, you look at the holes that were opened up for Powell. He was able to get through there and get going because he has the speed to do that. Matt Forte doesn't. So that's what's killing our run game as well, the lack of juice, the lack of speed, the lack of ability to just absolutely get away from guys once you get through that hole, that breaking speed, get into that second level and get ghost. That's what we're missing there. Yeah, we did get a little bit conservative, especially going to the half, but we definitely stalled on a lot of third downs too. A lot of third downs where we were trying to get back into the game and we couldn't convert and we couldn't get first. And then you start to see Josh McCown almost force some footballs in certain places as well, which he could have threw more than 2 picks, believe me, because he was throwing it to some coverages that was like, what is he doing? But, our offense was just kind of up and down because of all those things that we had going against us.
Yeah, and like I said, they did some really good things with Curley and Curse and Safarian Jenkins, a legitimate threat at the tight end position. He's becoming a playmaker, a safety valve, a huge red zone threat. Safarian Jenkins can do it all, and it's great that it's getting him involved. Dude, even Cadet came in. Was catching passes. He looked 10 times faster than Matt Forte did. It's like they use little pieces. It's like you see like glimmers of hope, then you see glimmers of stupidity. I mean, wasting 2 timeouts in the third quarter, it's like, what in the living hell? And it's like, I don't even blame it on Josh McCown, to be honest with you, because it seemed like the play calls were getting in late. How many times can you look to the sideline and be like, dude, give me the goddamn play? Dude, you just can't. Certain things, Joe, it's just like, these are things you do to self-destruct to lose to the Patriots.
Yeah. And that's where I was going a little bit earlier, was going into that, blowing those 2 timeouts that early, in the game. Look how much it killed us when we were trying to get back in that last drive.
Yep.
How the clock just kept rolling, and we couldn't stop the clock. We only had one thing left. We talk about time management issues on this damn show every week. We say something about it every single week. I thought that it was more on McCown originally when I first watched, but even going back and watching it again, I'm saying just the same exact thing you said. Why aren't the play calls getting in earlier? Because he's blowing time. He's blowing through those 2 timeouts because he doesn't have time to line these guys up. He doesn't have time to do that. That's why he's blowing straight through them. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And those things came back to bite us again. This is why we talk about time management every week on this show, because, look, you go back into that fourth quarter, we get the ball back, we have a chance to score and tie it after getting screwed over with the ASJ call. Now we got a last drive. It's either we stand or we're done, and we can't stop the clock because we don't have those 2 timeouts. I mean, that's just It's just bad time management, man. It's bad time management, and he's got to get control of that, because when you're making mistakes like that, critical mistakes against the Patriots will give you loss every single time. You will lose every single time if you make critical mistakes against the Pats. You can't do it.
No, I agree, this is not, to be clear here, this is not a Todd Bowles issue. This is John Morton.
No.
They weren't getting the plays in fast enough, and there was confusion on the offense. And you got to keep in mind, Josh McCown's a veteran player. He understands. He can command everything. He's looking at the sideline, like you can see. He was getting frustrated. So that was a problem. Oh, the Judge just hit a home run. Are you kidding me? Off the wall. Oh, boy, sorry, Joe. Just got a Yankee game tied up here. Sorry, dude. But the other thing too is, we're being very critical now, and I want to say, before we go into the defense and rip some of these players on defense, I just want to say this. If you're a New York Jets fan, I walked away from that game pissed off at the referees, but absolutely proud of the team for the effort, Joe. Yeah. We always said you got to come out fast, you got to come out prepared. They did that. When they were down, when they started losing, and half this fan base turned on them, because this fan base is a bunch of clowns, a good portion of it. Because once the Patriots go up 10 points, fire Bowles, this team sucks, everybody sucks. Those fans are part of the problem. The ones that the trolls and the quitters and everything else, the tank clowns, all those bozos. But this team doesn't quit. This team plays for 60 minutes, dude. And that's one thing as a Jet fan, you could take pride in that. Like, listen, they're well coached for the most part. John Morton had some issues, but listen, they came out prepared. They had good game plans. They made some mistakes, which, okay, that's going to happen. But, Joe, fourth quarter, they're playing hard. Even like they're doing their best. They're giving you max effort. And that's what you want, man, for a rebuilding team.
Absolutely. And if you keep him, again, let me just say this really clear. I did not call anybody a clown. That's at TRouch21. He will address.
Call me. I said it. I called this fan base clowns. The same clowns that, who they are, the same ones that said Ryan Fitzpatrick, you got to pay him whatever you want. The same ones that said, Mo Wilkerson, you got to pay your own. You got to keep your own. All the tank crowd, all these people that have no problem saying what they want and then go into hiding.
Uh-huh.
I don't hide, dude.
Yeah.
I'm here year-round, all week long. Whenever you want to talk to me, I'll say something to you. Don't hide.
That's right.
Because, dude, it's embarrassing. This is embarrassing, some of these people.
Talk that talk. That's what I'm saying. At TRouch21, you send all that email to that.
I'm ready.
Man. Do not talk to me. But, going back to the team, listen. What do we talk about before coming into this year? This was a rebuilding year. Okay, we need to find guys that we can move forward with. And watching a lot of these guys emerge, guys that we can move forward with, guys that are especially offensively. We were talking about, we were questioning our offense. How many weapons do we have? What can we surround, our future young quarterback with? Well, here's a guy in Austin Jenkins that is coming about, a guy I know you wanted to get cut. You definitely wanted to get rid of in the offseason, but a guy that I rode for, a guy that I said would emerge and become a great weapon within this offense. That is exactly what he's becoming in here. Jeremy Curley has also, since coming back, really been a big part of this offense as well. Curse has done his thing out here. There's so many bright spots in this football team, but as you spoke about as well, not only are they performing out there, but they keep fighting. Listen, after that ASJ call happened, guys could have just been like, you know what? The ref is not going to let this happen today. They're not going to let us win. It doesn't matter what we do. They're going to keep calling these calls. They're going to keep throwing these flags. Let's go ahead, take the gloves off, pack it in, let the Patriots have it. They did not do that. They kept fighting. they kept going. And every single time that, during that fourth quarter that you panned over to the sideline, guys were yelling, guys were screaming, guys were getting pumped up still because they're like, you know what, this game is not over. We're going to keep fighting, even if the refs are against us, even if a lot of our own, home fans didn't show up and we're surrounded by Patriot fans. Even though we're in the pit right now, we've got each other. So we're gonna rally around that, and we're gonna keep fighting. We're gonna try our best to win this damn football game. And I love that, man. I absolutely love that.
Dude, like I said, you're pissed off and you're mad about the loss. You're mad about how it happened with the refs and everything else. Mm-hmm. But then you look at it and you're like, listen, man, like you said, there were several times where this team could have mailed it in. The Patriots are rolling. They scored, 24 straight points. The crowd's out of it. Well, the crowd's not out of it. The crowd's loud, but the Patriot fans are making noise. And it's like, all right, this could be it. You get a couple bad calls. All right, we can just pack it up. Dolphins next week. These guys keep coming after it, man. And listen, they're not perfect. They're a flawed team. They compete. They play hard. They bought into Coach Bowles' system. And it's fun, dude.
Yep.
Like, listen, Josh McCown's not perfect. The guy is gritty. He's running around the pocket. He's trying to do whatever he can to get a first down. It's just cool to watch. But going back to the defense a little bit, the pass rush we talked about, which is completely non-existent, and it's going to be an enormous problem when you face better teams. And then the young safeties, dude, they got some lessons this week, man. They both got some lessons, and just with Gronkowski and running backs and everything else. And listen, trial by fire, and they're I'll say this: Darryl Roberts and Buster Screen, even though Buster dropped that interception, had phenomenal games. Very good in coverage. But when you give Brady time, he's going to start finding holes. Guys are going to get open. And our safeties, they got taught some lessons, man.
Look, it's Gronk. I said that on the preview into the game. It's Gronk, dude. Like, if you think that this guy who has played against, better safeties than what we have right now, during his career, wasn't going to go out there and, have a solid game, you were fooling yourself. These are two young rookie safeties, but they stepped up and they played well in certain spots, man. They did. But again, they're young kids. They're going to learn. They're going to have these up and downs. They're going to miss tackles. These are just things that are going to happen. They're going to get taught some lessons in coverage. That's what's going to happen. But they played decently, I thought, again, for being rookie safeties. I also didn't like the way that our run defense looked at times. I watched Deion Lewis rip off some runs, man, and I wasn't feeling it. He was getting, at least 8 yards here and 9 yards there and 10 yards here, moving the chains, getting some first downs. I didn't like how our run defense kind of looked, but we were able to kind of shore some things up. Gillingsley came in and got a little bit off as well. But as you spoke about, man, I think the one thing that killed us the most was our pass rush. Our pass rush wasn't getting there. It wasn't as effective as it should have been today. Darren Lee is another guy. He caused that fumble. That was a big play for us. But then in coverage on certain spots, he was still getting ripped up. I was still seeing him lose guys, still seeing him run after guys. I remember one play where he was able to actually, split the guard and the tackle and get in, and he should have had Lewis in the backfield, totally whiffed and missed the tackle. And Lewis was able to get around him and get outside. That was tough to watch as well. So we got some things that we have to clean up defensively. But, it is what it is. We're against the Patriots. We just got to continue to move forward from this and get better.
Yeah, you do. And like you said, you mentioned, it's funny because, for every, there's plays where Darren Lee makes mistakes. And then there's plays where he makes mistakes, but he makes up for it with effort. And that's another thing, dude. It's like that's the thing that you got to focus on right now with games like this. It's like, all right, listen, we made mistakes, we lost it. The referees absolutely killed us. But, dude, it's the effort, the passion, the pride. And we have a guest come on in a couple minutes. But I'll share some stories from last night, dude. I talked to a bunch of players. And, dude, they're all like, dude, we're going to keep fighting, man. Like, we're in this. Like, we believe in ourselves when nobody else did, and it shows every week. And it's like, listen, they're mad. They're obviously pissed off that they lost. They're pissed off about the call. But, dude, they're motivated. They're like, dude, we bought in. We're ready to play every week. We take pride in playing hard. That's what we want to be known for. I mean, that's what you want. No divas, no attitudes, no drama. The only drama now is the whole thing with Mo Wilkerson because it's just like now it's becoming a problem where it's annoying. Like, dude, $18 million a year. It's like bank robbery at this point. But dude, you have to be proud to be a Jet fan. If you're one of those clowns that are like, oh, you got to fire Bowles and this team's a mess and this team's a joke, you're just not paying attention. You're just a negative clown. Because, dude, there's signs of everything you want to see at a rebuilding team.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's signs where, again, you're seeing guys that you can move forward with. You're also seeing guys grow and mature within the scheme. You're seeing guys get better. I thought that Jordan Jenkins had a solid game. I thought that call against him, that was another one where I just felt like, come on, ref. You're just being absolutely ridiculous. When he got that call for jumping on a guy that he honestly didn't know was down. It wasn't like he was trying to kill the guy. He was just making sure the guy was down, and it was plain as day. And he still got the flag. It was like, all right, whatever, ref. But I thought he had a solid game. I thought Jordan Jenkins looked good out there. He was moving out there, trying to slow guys from coverage. I thought that Claiborne looked decent as well. And like you said, Roberts was out there moving around too. These are so many young guys that we can move forward with and still have in this roster and build with, man. It's awesome to see this defense, again, have its struggles, but continue to fight through those struggles and still going out there, giving as much effort as they can, maximum effort, and still going out there and trying to make plays.